Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking into the legacy of a true giant of Indian cinema, Dilip Kumar.
An absolute icon.
Right. And our mission really is to understand how he became known as Bollywood's tragedy king and also the Abhinay Samrat, the emperor of acting.
And why he still matters so much today.
Yeah.
We're drawing on some pretty comprehensive sources about his life and work.
Yeah, and you'll see quickly why he was such a force. I mean, over 80% of his films were hits. That's staggering, especially back then.
Totally staggering. So where do we start? I think maybe with what made him truly different.
Okay, yeah, let's dive in.
Well, Dilip Kumar, born Mohammed Yusuf Khan, he's really seen as India's first method actor.
And what did that mean, practically speaking? How did it look on screen?
It meant this intense immersion. He wasn't just saying lines. He was living the character's emotions, deep psychological portrayals.
So nuanced dialogue delivery, really getting into the character's head.
Exactly. It shifted things, moved cinema towards a kind of psychological depth that, well, audiences hadn't quite experienced before in quite that way.
And you can see that paying off pretty fast. His debut was Joa Bata in 44, but Jognu in 47 was the first big hit, right?
That was the one. And then, wow, the late 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Just a string of blockbusters.
We're talking films like Shahid, Andaz.
Bull, Didar, Nayadaur. Huge films.
And of course, the big one, Mughal-e-Azam in 1960.
Yeah.
Playing Prince Salim. That was what? The highest grossing Hindi film of its time.
For that whole era, yeah.
Yeah.
An absolute epic. But thinking about that emotional depth you mentioned, how did that lead to the Tragedy King name?
Right. Good question.
It really comes down to that method acting, that willingness to explore profound sorrow.
Yeah.
It's those roles in films like Devdas, Dag, Didar again, Ma Tumari. He just embodied tragedy in a way nobody else did.
You could almost feel the grief coming off the screen.
Exactly. It was layered, palpable. It just captivated people, made those characters unforgettable, and, well, earned him that title.
And the awards certainly reflected that impact. He holds the record, shared with Shah Rukh Khan now, but 8 Filmfare Best Actor wins.
8. And he won the very first one back in 1954. Incredible.
Plus the Darasaheb Phalke Award later on, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan. Major Indian honors.
Absolutely. But it wasn't just national recognition, which is interesting.
Right.
He also received the Nishani-Imtiaz from Pakistan in '98. That's their highest civilian award.
Wow, okay. So significant cross-border appeal, too.
Definitely shows his cultural reach. And his influence on other actors is just immense. You hear people like Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, Nosruddin Shah.
They all point to him.
Consistently. Yeah, they credit him as a major inspiration. His style didn't just win awards. It sort of redefined screen acting for generations.
And he kept going for so long. A bit of a quieter patch in the 70s, maybe?
Yeah, relatively.
Yeah.
Then he came back strong in the 80s.
Right, with films like Kranti in 81, Vidhata, Karma.
And Saudagar in 91.
Yeah.
A really solid comeback.
But his public life didn't end with acting, did it?
No, that's a key point. After stepping back from films, he served in India's Rajya Sabha, the upper house of parliament.
From 2000 to 2006.
Yeah, it just shows another side of his commitment beyond the screen.
So wrapping this up, what's the main takeaway for you, the listener? Dilip Kumar wasn't, just an actor.
Not at all. He was a pioneer. He fundamentally changed Indian cinema with that methodical, deeply emotional style.
He set records, created these massive cultural moments, and genuinely influenced generations of performers.
His story really highlights how one performer can, leave such a lasting mark on an entire industry, even a nation.
So here's something to think about. How does an artist really digging deep into a specific style, like method acting in his case, not only shape their own path, but also fundamentally alter the whole landscape of their art form for decades after?